Hey guys, what's up? It's Shla coming back to ya with the final episode for the day of Walks with Shla. And you know what I was just thinking of is I was really admiring just how solid of a setup I have. The fact that this microphone was so affordable and it actually does sound very good. I was listening to the last episode and watched the whole thing, but super happy with how it turned out. I mean, it's really something. I don't know. This mic, it's great. I think it sounds like amazing considering I'm just out here, and yeah, I think the wind resistance is okay. I mean, you know, it could be better, and with how big this furball is, you kind of expect better, but I guess that just comes with the territory. I don't know. And the other thing is, I guess I'm getting used to talking loud, because that is an important thing. But yeah, I'm just admiring my setup, I suppose. The 13 mini and how perfect this phone is as this little miniature handheld microphone megaphone. It's just such a perfect format and such a nice premium device at this tiny form factor. The only thing I guess that would be cool is a first gen iPhone SE would be, I accidentally locked my phone. That's not good. Hope that didn't cause any problems. Hope I didn't cause that static issue. I kind of wonder if that static issue was from the firmware potentially. I think that's a strong possibility. Anyways, so yeah, it's I don't know, this setup's pretty good, and it's pretty cheap. I mean, again, like a first gen SE, it would be slightly lighter in weight, but possibly less comfortable because the corners are a little jagged on it. So there's some risk there, and the CPU would be a good strong amount worse. So I don't really think it's worth it. I think the 13 mini at this point is my best bet. Of course, it's possible the iPhone Air could be, but I'm not entirely sure. It's pretty bulky for no reason. And I do have pretty large hands, so I guess it could work, but mainly what I would want is a phone that's slightly taller. But for the time being, again, the lightning port variant of the mic is the super cheap one, so the USB-C would be more expensive, and the only phone I can think of that would be tall would be like an old Sony Xperia, because it has the 21:9 aspect ratio. So that would be an interesting thing. It probably would work well for this use case because it's kind of nice to have something tall and narrow. So like an iPhone 13 mini that is 21:9 and has the bottom bezel, just the bottom bezel. So it still has a home button would be my Frankenstein imaginary perfect thing. It's actually kind of interesting to think about. I'd like to see it. But anyways, what I just realized though in reflection of it, and it's this point that I can't believe I forgot to mention, it could have been said at some point in the Car Rides with Schla. I don't really know. But it's this idea that, trying to think. Yeah, my dreams. I have had dreams before, and very often, that are so strong, they're so much happier and better than reality. And I mean, maybe this sounds kind of silly, because maybe a lot of people are like, yeah, no kidding, like a dream. Yeah, no kidding, a dream sounds better. But this is the thing. It's just it really feels like it's so much stronger to me. I have a hard time understanding that other people, it's equally to the same degree. I think most people, they have the most fun interacting with things in the flesh, incarnate. I don't really think people enjoy things being in a dream as much. I mean, it might be the case temporarily. That's completely possible. But yeah, I don't know. Just not too sure. You know, it's a tricky conversation. It's a tricky answer. There may not really be a clear answer. Anyway, alas, my dreams are super potent. I've played the best video games. I've watched the best shows. I've seen people and met people at their kindest and their nicest and their best during my dreams. It is super duper cool and amazing, but it obviously leads to kind of a really weird depression, because you wake up and then your material world is so much worse than what your mind is able to create. And I guess in that sense, it's possible that everybody goes through that. But, you know, in my case, it's like, wow, you know, these dreams are something else. And I wanted to include that in with what I was talking about, because I'm certain that most people's dreams are not as impactful. You know, they're just not. And so that's like a pretty relevant metric for me to point out, I suppose. Is that the right answer? I don't know. I guess I'm going to point that out as a metric. And you know what I'm just thinking about now? Pokemon Sleep. That randomly came to my mind because we're talking about dreams. I guess I don't know too much about the game, but it turned out to be some silly like microtransaction thing. But I'd actually be I was always into that concept, like a idler or a game that is based on your sleep, or like how well you sleep. I don't know if they actually do that in that game, but that would be pretty cool. So might be interesting to look into that, honestly. I wanted to get that accessory for it, but was kind of expensive, and then I never did. But I don't see it in stores anymore, so that means like one of two things. It means that it's either available for cheap on eBay right now, or it's available for expensive on eBay right now. So yeah, it's like those one of those two options when stuff is no longer available. It's kind of a shame. But regardless, it is what it is. What can I say? But yeah, there's some changes happening in the world right now. I know I touched on it before, but it's I guess I just want to give my input on it. I know this could get risky because it's political, but I'm going to try to do like as neutral of an analysis as I can, I guess. My genuine opinion is that the government shutdown is the Republicans' fault, and it's basically the higher-ups in the administration who are trying to use it to cut the size of the federal government, because this has kind of been the intention for a very long time in Republican philosophy and whatnot. And it's really a win-win for Republicans at this point, because I can't remember the polls, but I assume that the polls, like, I think most people think it's the Republicans' fault. But, you know, it's probably not by that wide of a margin. And I think they're gambling with this idea that not enough humans are really going to be aware or care, and that they're going to just be able to spin it enough to where, like, it just doesn't really matter. Like, even me talking about it, it just doesn't really matter, because they know, like, somebody could say something about it and have the correct information, but people are kind of, like, extremely absent-minded nowadays. Like, again, it's very difficult for people to even pay attention to politics, and this really rules in the Republicans' favor, who, as of late, are much better at putting on a show and kind of appearing as though, you know, they can kind of sway people's opinion more on their side, more so than a person may actually believe themselves, if that makes any sense. So that is my conclusion. And I think there's the elites, so the people who are basically above politics, the wealthy, are probably intentionally using this in conjunction with a lot else that's going on. I've talked about it before. You're starting to see companies do mass layoffs, and these are mass layoffs of presumably high-paying jobs, as well as maybe some low-paying jobs. So we're starting to see this great reset and restructuring of society. We're beginning to see the foundation for that. And I think it's here. It's like happening right now. 2026, my prediction is it's going to be a pretty strict, uptight year. You know, I'm trying to prepare by, you know, being more financially austere myself, and I would recommend the same to pretty much anybody right now. I mean, by the time this video is posted, I'm not really sure how my schedule is, but it'll probably be up before 2025. It's because it's just going to be very delayed now. Like, I used to be very organized, and it was like, I think about a week. It was only about a week off. Now it's going to be crazy. Like, these videos are going to be like potentially multiple weeks off, just with how much content I'm making. But then I can't just like upload everything at once, because that doesn't make any sense, you know? So yeah, it's like I can't just post like 3 videos a day every week, because that's not necessarily sustainable. You know what I mean? Because like, I don't know if I'm always going to be able to do 3 videos a week, a day. I'm sorry. Let me do the math again. Yeah. So every week, assuming everything goes according to plan, there's no rain, I drive to work, there's no day off, everything is maximal, we can end up with, wow, actually, is it, what? Am I getting like my math? It's 25, right? Yeah, because it's 3 times 5, and then 2, so it's 25 episodes. So actually, yeah, I may need to start doing like, yeah, no, so I'm making way too many videos. I wasn't really realizing that. I thought it was 20. I'm not really sure why. I think I was, and you know, I might have actually said in a video and outlined it was 20 and just done my math like completely wrong. That's kind of embarrassing. But no, it's definitely 25, because I was originally doing 10 a week, and that was with the 2 car rides with schloss. So we're starting with 10, adding on top of that 3 walks with schloss a day, ideally makes it so we're at 25. So yeah, we could actually do 3 uploads a day times 7, 21. And I'm going to be completely honest, if this keeps up at the rate it is, that's probably going to be totally feasible, only because that's like the legitimate upkeep, right? I mean, and that's even factoring in that maybe, well, one rainy day could already lower it to 22. So it gets like a little bit risky. You know, it gets a little bit risky. Maybe I could do like 3 uploads Monday through Friday, and then 2 uploads Saturday, Sunday. That might be a little bit safer, because then that's only, instead of being 21, is that 19 uploads a week? If I'm doing my math right. I don't know. That seems like a little bit safer. But yeah, we'll have to try to figure it out. I guess it just won't really be that consistent. But I do want to generate like a buffer. And maybe I'll come to regret that, but I don't really think I will. I think the whole point of this series is to just, I mean, it's really to just flood and document. And I don't know. I have a lot of work to do, though. This when I get home, it's going to be like straight to work. Oh my gosh. Well, I still have a car rides with Schla to record, obviously, but yeah, I guess so sorry, that was like a huge distraction because we're talking about pretty serious stuff here. I kind of see the Republican Party's ambitions since like the 80s as sort of a prerequisite to the modern problem, or at least I again, I don't want to speak for my own opinion. I'm trying to see through the eyes of the orchestrator or the puppet master, the elites, if you will. And it's again that problem that technology will exist and a majority of humans just won't really be able to use it properly. It's just gonna lead to their own destruction. So yeah, it's like, and then, you know, with Trump in particular, really accelerating that like ideology, like this is, it's like to a crazy extreme, you know. And I don't know, I just have a feeling that's what's going on with the shutdown. That's happening at the same time all these companies are announcing layoffs and the economy's kind of drying up. We're gonna see some crazy stuff. That's what I think. I think this shutdown's gonna be a long shutdown, and we'll see how accurate I am, because I don't know how like, I don't know, you know, where this is coming from, but just kind of random predictions. I think they're going to use the shutdown to do stuff, and it's basically a win-win for Republicans either way, because they're going to get what they want done, and then at the end of the day, Democrats could end up caving, and I guess they're just going for power at this point. And I guess we'll just have to see if voters actually give them an electoral consequence or not. And I'm banking on the fact that they don't think voters will. So sorry if any Republicans get mad at me who's working in the admin watching this video. My bad, but I'm just reporting the news. I'm not I'm not picking sides. I'm just trying to understand like what's going on and why it's going on. And I'm maybe putting more sense into it than even is, because maybe it's all just like greed and there's nothing more to it. But I just had to speak on it. I've been very interested in the topic, and I'd really like to report. I'd like to have a news show at some point, and I would try to be pretty objective and neutral about things, and just try to, I don't know, get my intuition. I'd get some predictions right, some predictions wrong. And yeah, I'd like to be a reporter. That's one of the dreams. I mean, I'd have my podcast, don't get me wrong, but I want to have kind of like a news show, you know, like my own network. That would really be an ideal outcome. So we'll see. So that's kind of a little, I mean, I've talked politics a little bit before, but haven't really got into too much. And yeah, I could at some point. But yeah, to wrap it back around to what I was talking about, my dreams are awesome, and it's so awesome that it's just a problem, because I can envision, and even in reality, like I can see the system that could be so much better, and it causes me so much existential pain and discomfort that other people don't need to go through, because they can't even see it or comprehend it. They know the world as is, and that's all they really know. And it's just like, it's crazy. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy that people are like that. So, yeah, that's pretty much all there is to it. That's kind of what I had to say about it. So it's a lot easier for other people to exist, even if their problems are more in front of their face. It's still easier for them to exist in this reality, because I don't know, but yeah, at least I think so. But the thing I wanted to mention is that I do think they're just ready to start having people die. I don't know. I think the elites are tired of reproduction, and they kind of realize that it needs to be dialed back or something. I don't really know. But then it's strange because then, you know, Elon Musk is promoting more births. So I don't really know what they're trying to do. I mean, maybe they're just trying to kill a lot of people, but also generate a lot of people. And at some point, every baby will get like a Neuralink put into them and scanned, and then they can just like kill off people they don't think have good neuroplasticity and, well, that's neuro superiority, I guess I should say. I just said neuroplasticity because I wanted to say some like fancy word, but I wasn't thinking too hard about the definition. That's my only impression with that, is it's just like, you know, make more workers and have more humans incarnate that have to be subject to material work, which does benefit the rich. But then you have Bill Gates, which is has more of a conservative idea about population growth, which to me is a little more in line with what we're seeing right now, which is obvious. Like they don't like people. You know, I love people, so there's a bit of a separate, you know, it's not really in accordance of what I would want. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm just trying to report on things here. It's not really about my opinion. I'm not the one pulling the strings. And I think we have to think about a way to come up with a solution, you know, between like, because you really can't just eliminate people just because they're not useful anymore. But I have a feeling that that's what they're already doing. So we'll see, and we'll see if I survive. I mean, all these videos are here, but if I don't make it, if I'm not deemed to be smart enough or not a hard enough worker, I'm not motivated enough, then I'm going to be on the street too. And these archives will be the last. We'll see what happens, all right? Anyways, it's been schla, but now it's time to buy schla. So, see you schla.